Hi, this is Olivia from the Alexandrienne channel, and I'd like to thank you for watching this dangle tutorial. In a few videos, we will take an in-depth look at how to draw the word happy using the previous videos sort of as a guide. Today's will be a focus on the lines and shapes of each letter and how to make the letters relate to each other to form the image as a whole. In other words, the word, if you're making a word. This is a lettering tutorial series, but as much as it is a lettering tutorial series, this is also an art series, because to me, it's almost more of an art series because it's not like you're taking a pen, holding it at a certain angle, and practicing a particular brush stroke over and over again until every time you do it, it comes out exactly the same. That isn't what this is about. This is more about taking the different letters of the alphabet and using those basic shapes as a foundation, but expanding tremendously on those. So by the time you're done, you recognize the letter, but it almost looks like a piece of art. Some of them, each little letter looks like a piece of art. So it's kind of a combination of lettering tutorial because it is about letters, but it's also about creating art. And anyone can do this. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be artistic. You don't have to have gone to art school. None of that. Anybody can do this. And that is one of the things that makes this so much fun. It is worth noting that everything used here that you apply to letters, you can use to create images of anything. Apples, oranges, butterflies, trees. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a letter. Just I'd mention that. Thanks so much. And if you're ready, let's get this dangly party started. In my book that's coming out, I mention the value of thumbnails. They really help a lot, take very little time, and shorten the overall concept process. Pretty important part. When you are coming up with your ideas, one of the easiest, fastest ways to do that is to do some thumbnails. If you look, you'll see where I've done a few thumbnails. What I typically do is I do some thumbnails and I see what I like about different parts of them. And so then I'll do another set of thumbnails, just a few, combining the best parts, or at least what I think are the best parts of the quickie thumbnails. And then when I get that narrowed down, then I will do probably one more big thumbnail, just so I can get everything in place approximately where it belongs, so I have something to reference back to when I'm doing the actual drawing itself. It might seem like this is a lengthy process, but it really isn't. When I'm referring to thumbnails, I'm referring to inch-size squares that you just have some basic marks in to show you placement, maybe the shape, if you're wanting to be at a curve or straight across, or if you would like the letters staggered in height. There's just all kinds of things. And so it really helps with that. And then the next group, if you do one of those, it's basically the same thing, only combining the different parts that you liked in the first ones. Now the last one might take you a few minutes, but that's pretty much the same thing, only with a little bit more detail. It helps a lot when you go to do your final image to reference back to that, because you've got it in your mind, you've got that spark there, and quickly sketching it down really helps your mind to refresh itself and say, oh yeah, I remember, I like that. It only takes a few minutes to do, and it can be very helpful. But you know how this goes. Having said that, if you're just doing something purely for fun, relaxation, maybe therapy, something where you don't want to hassle with this, don't. Just go right on in and start creating and have a lot of fun. This is probably more for somebody who's making a gift for somebody, or a wall hanging, or that sort of thing. Okay, I just thought I'd mention that to you. Now that you know about the thumbnails, one more thing, I think I should probably apologize. When I get really excited about a subject, I tend to start talking really fast. And when I played this back, it sounds like I'm going a million miles an hour. So I'm sorry, I was just really excited. And if you're having a hard time understanding any part of what I was saying, let me know about the time when it happened and I'll clarify it for you. I wanted to show you the image of my final larger thumbnail for the word happy. And I've got little notes written around here, and I've kind of blocked it all out the way I want it, but I'm separating it out in these tutorials to go through one topic at a time. And so today we're starting with lines. It might be helpful if I read to you a little bit of what I have on this page. I won't read everything, just a few of the parts that I think might make sense. I have it listed in the order that we will go through the word happy. It's making the letters, which is lines, patterns, embellishments, dangles, charms, and then some color. And below that I've written charms and embellishments are similar in composition, but they have a different purpose. Embellishments can do many things, create balance or tension / excitement where it's needed. It can create interest where it's needed, etc. And charms are kind of like the icing on the cake. It's that extra sparkle. And I just wanted to share this with you. Yes, this is what one of my typical drawings, thumbnail type, look like. It's all messy, and I have a bazillion pencil lines. It's not going to be the final product, so it's okay if it's kind of messy, I think. Anyway, now on to the actual drawing of the word happy. Are you ready? Here goes. Okay, the word happy I have drawn in pencil, and I know that it was really hard to see it on the last video that I used pencil on, so I'm going to marker it in, but I always draw in pencil first if I can. You'll just see me marking over the pencil. Just a tip or a suggestion, this is what I do. I always lay down a sheet of paper between what I'm drawing and my hand, because your hand, if you have pencil, it will smear the pencil. And also, everybody has oils on their hands, and if you don't put a layer down, you run the risk of getting oil on your product, and when you go to put color on it, sometimes that acts as a resist, and the color won't stay in that area. Just thought you might like that tidbit. Okay, now about the H. If you look, you'll notice that the line that I am markering now is a masculine line because it's straight, and the crossbar is kind of a combination of feminine and masculine. It has wavy lines and a straight line, and you'll notice that the right vertical bar is all feminine. So the first letter of the word is a combination masculine, feminine. Okay. And whenever I do a drawing like this, and this is kind of obvious, but I thought I'd mention it, when you're done, of course, you're going to want to go over it and erase your pencil lines. I have some rather exciting news. I am currently working on the Dangles #2 book. So if you've been waiting for it, I know that some of you have, it should be done in the not too far away future. I'm actually planning on doing a few of them. This one that is coming up next is going to be about Dangles Demystified. It's going to go into more detail about how to create letters, how to create the dangles and charms, and that's what the whole book is about. So for those of you that were seeking a more in-depth explanation, you'll be able to find it there. Okay, back to what we were doing. Okay, now we're going to go on to the letter A. This is a totally feminine letter. It's all swirls, and what I'm going over right now looks almost like a ribbon that you can see the back and the front of. And the center part, well, the circle part, is just a swirl that just keeps swirling around on the inside. There is no need to be perfect. It's okay if it doesn't look like a font. This is not what's intended for it. It's to look like your creation. But if you're worried about it, just a little tidbit here, when you go back in and work on it some more with the patterns, a lot of times if you feel like you've made a mistake or you think something's kind of sticking out that you don't like, you can always camouflage it with certain patterns or embellishments, something I found out along the way. And oftentimes you won't even notice it anyway. It's been said that if you want a photograph, go get a photograph. Or if you want a perfect letter, go get a font. And I guess that kind of applies here because this is something that you're creating with your hands and your time and your effort. So it's more about the love, not, if it's perfect or not. Okay, anyway, so on to the P. This is mostly masculine, but there is a little bit of feminine in the bottom part with the curve and the circle. And of course, the circle part of the P, that can't help but be somewhat feminine. That is, unless you are making your word or your letter with a masculine kind of line. Say, example, instead of having a circle there, you would have a square, in which case it doesn't have to look feminine. If you'll notice, there's a line going down the center part of the P because I know I'm going to want to add a pattern in there, and that is due to the thumbnail. Once again, I refer back to the thumbnail a lot. And now in the second P, you can see where this is mostly feminine. I try to make a contrast. Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes I will either do masculine then feminine and repeat that, sometimes adding one like the H that's both masculine and feminine. And that is for interest. And plus, this is the word happy. It's not a lovely feminine word or a masculine word. It's about being happy. And I thought that that would be a good word to include both masculine and feminine and the combination of the two. Okay, now on to the letter Y. Once again, this is a little bit like the H. It's both masculine and feminine. I would say it is more feminine than masculine. And this is also one that's really good to make the point of the thumbnail. I made the long loop with the little swirl on the end because I know that I want to put an embellishment hanging down off of the loop so it will be on top of the letter. And I suppose it's quite possible that without a thumbnail I would do the same thing, but the thumbnail just makes it easier because I know ahead of time that that's what I want to do. Okay, so back to the feminine masculine. It's all feminine with the exception of the right vertical bar. It's masculine. And at the end, I kind of merge it into a feminine there at the loop. And swirls are one of my favorite things to do. I think they always look good, especially with the lettering. In our next lesson, if I remember correctly, we're going to do patterns. And each one it depends on how long the video is. I might combine one or two of them. But if I find out like this one that it's kind of going kind of long, then I'll keep them separate. I don't think they will be this long. I just wanted to, at the beginning of this video, reiterate a little bit about what we talked about in some prior videos. Kind of as a refresher, or if somebody hasn't watched the other videos, they would still get the benefit from some of that. Depending on what you're creating, like for example on this letter Y, it's not too big, but sometimes you'll find that it can be a challenge to draw a line, one consistently long line, and it makes it easier if you break it up. So what I've learned over the years is to draw until I feel like I'm not making a very smooth line. Then I will stop and I will turn my design at whatever angle I feel most comfortable. And then I will continue on with that stroke. It's just something that helps make it a little bit easier sometimes. That's just for me. You don't have to do that. You can do it any way you want to. For me, it just makes it easier. Okay, well, now we have the word happy. One more little part. I'm going to make that a solid there. Or, well, join the lines. Okay, ta-da! Happy. Now we got to go in and erase. I'm not going to, make you suffer through all the erasing, but that's what the next step would be, is to go in and erase your pencil lines. And I guess that's pretty much it for this video. If you like this video, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button, and I would love it if you would leave comments and questions below. Well, for one, I'd love to read them, and for two, if you need help, I can help you. Plus, it helps me to know where I should go from here, and it also helps me to know what parts of the way I'm creating the videos you like and the parts that you don't like, because I will include the ones you like more and vice versa as well. And of course, I would love it if you would subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you'll be notified when I post a new video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.